You know, it's about 9:56. I wasn't here last week. I was actually flying back from Florida on Friday morning. I went down to spend almost a week watching my middle granddaughter in her last week of riding at the Wellington Winter Equestrian Horse Show. So I had not gotten a chance to see her she's been down there since January competing, but I wasn't going to get on a plane until I was fully vaccinated and at that 2 week past my last vaccination mark. So anyway, it was in the 80s every day that I was down there. On Friday morning, I came back without a jacket, without a coat. It was a beautiful day when I left. And I came back, got off the plane, and it was 28 degrees. Oh my God, I was so cold. It was quite a shock to my system, but thankfully spring is here and weather has definitely improved. I think the weather's supposed to be pretty good this weekend, so I hope everybody is planning something fun to do this weekend. I'm going to be back. Oh, I'm teaching my first in-person yoga class starting tomorrow at the Arlington studio at 9 a.m. It can be Zoomed as well, but it's going to be interesting because I haven't done a Zoom class before, and I went to the studio to sort of meet with Annie to figure out all the things I have to do to record it live, and just hope I get it all right. But at any rate, I'm kind of happy to be going back to the studio. Hey, it'll be fun to be teaching a yoga class in person again. So my Sunday class is that I have taught from my living room since last fall is no more. I'll be teaching in the studio on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., either live or Zoom live. We'll get started in about 1 minute. It's 9:59. Sorry I missed you guys last week, but Florida called. Okay, let's get started. So let's start seated this morning in whatever is your comfortable cross-legged position, whatever feels most comfortable for you. If you need to, be sure to elevate your hips so that you can bring your hips and knees more in line. So if your knees are up like this when you sit cross-legged, elevate yourself with blankets or pillows or whatever you need to get a little bit more even here. It'll feel a lot better too. Make sure your spine is nice and long. And let's just take a moment to feel our bodies sitting. So you can do this with your eyes softly open or closed, but just take a moment and tune into what your body feels like in this seated cross-legged position. Notice your shoulders. Notice your hips and knees. And if there is discomfort in any of those places, make a mental note of that, but try to just allow yourself to kind of settle into that's what it's feeling like and not get caught up in the feeling. Now begin to just feel your body breathing. So take your attention away from your physical body, the physical parts of your body, and just focus it on your breath. Notice where you most feel your breath. So just having a sense that you are connecting the breath and the body. And for the next 30 minutes, you're going to be very, very, very aware of that connection. So go ahead now and lie down on your back. Take your arms out to the side, bend your knees, put your feet on the floor. Lift your knees off the floor, lift your feet off the floor rather. Inhale from here, and as you exhale, drop your knees to the right without touching the floor. Turn your head to the left. Now that's on an exhalation. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, drop your knees to the left, turn your head to the right. Inhale, straighten, oops, I'm not far enough away. Straighten the legs. Exhale, bend. And inhale, bring them back up to center. So we're going to do this 2 more times each side. Inhale, exhale, knees right, head left. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, up. Exhale, knees left, head right. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, bend. Inhale, up. 1 more time each side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale as you bring your feet back down to the floor. Cross your right knee over your left. So the right knee is right on top of the left knee. Drop both knees to the right as you turn your head to the left. And just take nice deep breaths. Again, feel the breath and the body moving, even though you're in a still or static pose. See if you can connect with that feeling of your breath and body in coordination. Exhaling generally will allow the knees to drop a little bit deeper without you forcing anything. Inhale, drawing up energy into your body. Exhaling and releasing. Good. Inhale, bring the knees back up. And exhale, place the left knee on top of the right. Drop both knees to the left and turn your head to the right. And same thing, just kind of feel your body. As you inhale, you're drawing energy up into the body. As you exhale, you're letting that energy release down into that side stretch. Feeling the knees naturally drop a little bit, but not forcing anything or not doing it deliberately. But just connecting with that, the power of the inhalation and the exhalation. The deeper your breath, the deeper you'll go into this very static pose. And on your next inhalation, go ahead, bring your knees back up. Exhale and release. Let's come on up into table pose. So as you come into table pose, make sure your hands and arms are shoulder width apart, and your shoulders are directly over your wrists. And your knees and feet are hip width apart, and your knees are directly underneath your hips. Good. Go ahead now and lift your left leg and right arm. And as you focus on the body breathing, really focus on feeling the energy of the breath as it moves through your body. Use the breath to help stabilize you in this pose. After your next exhalation, come back to table. Feel your body stable on all four corners of your body. But now we're going to lift the left arm, right leg. Does it feel any different on this side? Use the breath. Finish your next exhalation, and let's just come in and rest in child's pose for a few breaths. How did your body feel as you were practicing that balanced pose? And then coming back up to table. Go ahead now and actually place your forearms down on the floor like this, and then clasp your hands. So you're forming a V with your forearms. Walk your knees back behind your hips and curl your toes under. So try to have your shoulders directly over your elbow creases. And then on your next inhalation, lift your knees. Try to keep your butt flat. So this is kind of like a plank that you might do in a gym class. And breathe. If you need to put your knees back down, that's okay. If you do put your knees back down, come back into child's pose. In fact, everybody go ahead, come back into child's pose. We're going to do the dolphin plank one more time. So coming back up, shoulders over the elbow creases, knees just move up a little bit, knees behind the hips. Press those forearms into the floor, and when you're ready, lift your knees and breathe. And on your next after your next exhalation, put your knees down, push back into child's pose. And just think about how your breath felt while you were holding that dolphin plank. And then coming back up, standing up on your knees. Good. We're just going to stretch out the spine a little bit by taking a big inhalation, arms overhead, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, we're going to come back down into child's pose. And we're just going to do this 3 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. This time hold child's pose. Next inhalation, go ahead, come back up. Step your right foot forward into a lunge. Curl your back toe under. Now you can use blocks here if you like. Just take a few breaths. Now make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle, okay? Now, if you want a little bit deeper stretch in the left groin, then walk your left knee back. If it's too intense, walk your left knee forward a little bit, but try to keep the right knee directly over the right ankle and breathe. Lengthen out your spine. So here's where if you feel like you're too hunched over, you might want to grab your blocks. You can come up on your fingertips like me. If I try to put my hands flat on the floor, I'm like this. So I'm kind of right up on my middle finger so that I can keep my spine nice and long. And breathing. After your next exhalation, bring your hands up onto your knee. Relax your shoulders down. If you feel a little bit unstable here, isometrically hug your left knee and your right heel towards each other. Breathing. Really extending this torso, but keeping the shoulders relaxed. Even though the arms are overhead, make sure you're not hunching your shoulders up around your ears. Finish your next exhalation as you bring your hands down, and let's change sides. So bringing the left leg up in front, making sure that the left knee is directly over the left ankle. Again, usually we're more flexible on one side, or one side of the groin area is usually a little bit tighter. So adjust again, not moving your left leg, but moving your right knee. Move it further back if you want a deeper stretch. Move it a little bit closer in if the stretch is already too intense. Again, you want to curl the back toe under, lengthen the torso, breathing. Try to be aware that you're not kind of rounding your shoulders forward, so you're lengthening the torso out from the tailbone out through the crown of your head. After you finish your next exhalation, let's bring the hands up. Relax the shoulders down. Isometrically hugging the right knee and left heel towards each other if you feel like you need a little bit more stability. Breathing. On your next inhalation, take your arms overhead. On your next exhalation, bring your arms down and just come back into a resting child's pose for a few breaths. And after your next exhalation, coming back up to table. Same position, shoulders directly over wrist, and knees directly beneath your hips. And we're just going to do a little dynamic move here. So you're going to inhale as you straighten your right leg and look up. Exhale, bring the knee in, drop your forehead towards your knee. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. And last time. And releasing the right knee down. So we're switching sides now. Make sure you feel stable. Stretch out your left leg. Inhale as you look up. Exhale, knee and nose towards each other. Inhale. And last time. And let's come back to child's pose. And coming back up to table. So really make sure you can feel your hands really connected to the mat by pressing into the fingertips, the knuckles, the palms of your hands, the heel of your thumb. Isometrically press your hands towards each other, okay? So really take a moment and just feel the muscular energy in your hands and arms right now. Curl your toes under. On your inhale, lift your knees as you stretch your spine back. And exhale, just lower the heels towards the floor and then begin to slowly bicycle. Heel up, heel down, just back and forth. And when you feel like you've stretched out both of your calves, go ahead and lower your heels. They don't have to touch the floor all the way. That's okay. Let the head relax completely. Breathing. And then begin to walk your feet towards your hands and your hands back towards your feet until you come into Uttanasana. Clasp your elbows, let yourself just hang for a sec. Take some nice deep breaths. And then after your next exhalation, place your hands right at your waist, squeeze your shoulders back, flatten your back, and then inhale to come all the way up. Okay. So coming to the center of your mat, have your feet a comfortable distance apart. Lift all 10 toes. Really stretch those toes out. And then consciously press into the big toe mounds of each foot and the outer heels. And feel the muscular energy kind of engage the legs. Feel the muscles kind of hugging your bones. Lower the toes, but try to keep that muscular energy in your legs. Just have the sense that you're really grounding yourself into the earth. And then from your waist up, see if you can feel your torso lifting, lengthening. Not hunching your shoulders, so not this, but just from the waist, gently letting the spine elongate. Keep that muscular energy in your legs. So feel very rooted and grounded, like the trunk of a tree grounded and rooted into the earth. Take your arms overhead and grab your right wrist with your left hand. I'm mirroring you. Good. So hold on to that wrist. Lengthen the torso. Inhale. Exhale only from the waist. So don't poke your hip out. Just let yourself stretch your torso over to the left. But try to feel really rooted so that both hips stay level and you're rooted to the earth from the hips down through the feet. And just breathe into that right rib, the right ribs. Finish your next exhalation. Inhale, come up, just switch sides. So grabbing the left wrist with the right hand now. Again, still feeling rooted into the earth, so check to make sure you're still kind of hugging the muscles to the bones of your legs and thighs. Inhale, stretch up on that left side. Exhale, from the waist upwards, take a stretch over to the right. Finish your next exhalation and inhale to come all the way back up. Okay. So we practiced a couple of balance poses where we were on the ground more or less balancing. Let's just take tree pose. And you can grab a chair here if you like. I don't mind if you use some support because if it helps you to feel comfortable and to get better balance and not as frustrated if you don't have really good balance just standing alone, you can grab a chair. I'm going to grab a chair actually. Sometimes a chair will just give us some, a sense of stability, or we're able to just kind of lean on that chair. So in other words, if you have to let go of your hands before you let go of your feet, you can do that. So I've got the chair now on I'm sorry you guys, I'm not mirroring you because I cannot mirror when I'm doing balance poses like this. So we're going to feel that sense of being rooted into the earth again. So lift the 10 toes, press into the big toe mound, the outer heel. Feel the muscles hugging the bones, and then lower the toes. If you'd like to, you can hold onto the chair as you lift your right leg up. Lift it up only as high as is comfortable for your knee and hip. And just, if you want to, you can just hold like this. If you're really good at tree pose, you want to just take your hands to your heart or above your head right now, that's fine. But if you're not real good at being stable, you can just kind of do this, just hold on to the chair. And then if you feel comfortable, you can let go. Whoops. See? Chair comes in handy. I'm not doing a very good tree pose today. And I'm going to release. Yeah, so my balance is on and off. It's good some days and not good on other days, but I continue to work on it. I started riding my bicycle for the first time after a year and a half of not being able to ride, mostly because of my vision and partially because last year during the pandemic there were a lot of novice bike riders on the trails and they were kind of dangerous, and with my vision only in one eye, I was a little bit afraid to go out. So I'm back on my bike now. Did 19 miles on Tuesday, so that's the most I've ridden. Today is Friday, so yesterday was 2 weeks since I started cycling again. But anyway, back to balance. Obviously on a bicycle, you're doing a lot of balancing. So practicing balance poses is good for my biking too. All right, so I've moved the chair to the other side. I'm really grounded now, and my right leg, and I'm gonna bring my left leg up. Now, because of my left hip, I can't bring my left leg up as high as I can my right, so I don't even try. I'm gonna hold here for a minute, and then I'm gonna let go. But I'm gonna hold again. And release. Okay. So balance is something I pretty much work on every day in my own yoga practice. Your balance is going to get a little shakier as you get older. As most of you know, I'm 73 now, so I try to do what I can to make sure that I don't become less able to balance my body. All right, let's just clasp the hands behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades back, lift the arms behind you, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Stretch out the back and the shoulders. Finish your next exhalation. Inhale, come up. Okay, come on back down onto the floor. And we're going to do one last little balance pose. Navasana, boat pose. So start by just making sure you can really feel your sit bones under you, so you can lift the hip, pull the flesh away from your buttock, feel those sit bones. Flex both feet. So let's just sit in Dandasana for a few seconds. So the spine is nice and long, the feet are flexed, shoulders are relaxed. Take a moment now and feel how your abdominal muscles are now engaged in this pose. In order for you to keep your spine nice and long, you have to engage the abdominals. Okay, bend your knees and walk your heels in towards your body. Hold behind your thighs like this and try to keep the spine straight as you can. Now you are going to roll back a little bit, that's okay, but I want you to just go ahead and just lift your feet off the floor. Now you're still holding on, but now I want you to release. If you can. If you can't, just balance with your hands holding on to behind your thighs. Breathing. Finish your next exhalation, release. Your thighs might have gotten a little cramped, so you can just do this. Now we're going to do one more, only this time, if you want, you can straighten your legs. So we'll start with knees bent. We'll keep the knees either bent with the heels off the floor, or you can straighten your legs. Either one is fine. Do whichever one you can. So once again, sitting up in Dandasana, walk the heels in, keep the spine long, lean back, lift the heels off the floor, straighten the legs if you want to, and then release. And release down. Okay, let's go ahead and lie down on your back. Let's bring both knees up to your chest. Wrap your hands around your knees. Rock your low back side to side. Make little circles if you want. In both directions. And you can either leave your knees bent with your feet on the floor like this and the knees kind of dropping in, arms at your side, or you can stretch all the way out, or you can take your legs wide, take your arms overhead, whichever one of those three you want, for the next 1 minute while we just allow the body to settle back into the practice, feeling the body breathing once again. Keeping the mind connected to the breath, so if the mind starts wandering away from this present moment, bring it back to your breath. And after your next exhalation, bend your knees, put your feet on the floor. You can either roll over onto your side or just rock yourself up to seated. So I hope you have a great weekend and the great next week. Enjoying spring. I've been walking and taking pictures of all the blossoms on all the trees and just being really grateful for, just the beauty that surrounds me in this little neighborhood that I can just walk around in and experience. So I'll see you guys next week. Namaste.